Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 20th of September 2019. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, also just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which you can always check out on a daily basis. And I believe you can find good material here to have a read through, good technical analysis. So, yep, like I said, feel free to check us out here on our jfdbank.com website. So, now then, guys, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is gold. Now, gold is kind of moving sideways this week, and on one hand, I mean, it's not really the most exciting instrument this week, but the reason I'm showing this one is just because it may be an exciting one next week. So for now, we can see that gold kind of managed to trade lower at one point this week. It drifted below this upside support line taken from the low of the 30th of May this year, of course. And but as you can see now, it's quickly kind of getting back above this line. We are going to keep this line for now because yes, we did have a violation of it, but as you can see, it drifted back above it, but then when it even retraced slightly to the downside, it still kind of respected that line. It didn't actually go even, let's say, lower to the 200 EMA or something, but it rebounded from this upside line. So we're going to keep that one for now. We're going to class this as a false breakout, and which looking at the daily chart, which we can see that almost kind of is. And like I said, coming back into the 4-hour chart, for now what we are looking at here are these key potential breakout points. So on the downside, we have the 1484 zone. I talked about this one previously, and on the upside we have the 1512 area, approximately around there, guys. So a nice good pop above this could in a way lead the commodity a little bit higher towards the 1525 zone, or even going further north towards the 1534 area. The 1525 zone was nice, was seen as a nice intraday swing high of the 6th of September here, and the 1534 area was seen as a nice low of the 4th of September. So good potential targets here. Initially, that we're going to target those, but again, in order for us to examine the upside, we need to see a nice good pop above the 1512 zone, so keep your eyes on this one. In terms of the downside, still the same game plan remains, the 1484, because as you can see on Wednesday, the commodity drifted lower and drifted below this upside line, but it was held near this 1484 zone. So that's why this area for us becomes quite an interesting one to watch. And so let's see which of these is going to get broken first. Bitcoin, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but just wanted to quickly run this one by you. Yesterday, what I was talking about, that if, of course, after having this nice drop here below this upside line, certainly yes, it increased the chances for drifting further north, or sorry, further south. But what I was saying yesterday in my video, that in order for us to consider further declines, a drop below the 9,814 level is required. That never happened. The crypto reversed and pushed back to the upside. And again, what I was saying, that in order for us to get excited about the upside, we need to push above the 10,490 zone, approximately around here. And you can see that the crypto managed to get a perfect test of this area and then reversed back below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 6th of August. So what I can say here, guys, is still the same idea remains. We need the same breaks here. We need to have a nice break here through the 10,490 before we could see a nice good further push north. We're not going to even let's say target too much to the upside, but let's say the 10,933 zone could be a nice potential target. In terms of the downside, for us, the same level here remains. This is for the more cautious ones, but for those who are more adventurous, in a way, you could start looking at maybe lower levels if we see another slide below this upside line, this tentative upside line, and a drop below the 10,090 zone, approximately around here, and then we could consider a possible move lower. The only thing is that at this point, if it travels a little bit lower, it fails to drive all the way here towards the 9,814 zone, and it could reverse and push back to the upside. So that's why this level here becomes for us a little bit of a tricky one, a bit of a risky one, I would say, but the more convenient area and level, this more convenient breakout point could be around the 9,814. So keep your eyes on this one. AUDCAD, jumping into a few pairs now very quickly. So I looked at this one previously, and basically after breaking the 0.9051 area, the pair drifted lower nicely to the downside here, but found good support near the 0.8997, or even actually, let me just adjust this very quickly. This is the level that it wasn't able to close below. Even the 4-hour candle, it wasn't able to close below. But the low that it reached was the around the 0.89, 83, 84 zone, approximately around there. So what we're going to do now here is, of course, this potential breakout here on the downside, a drop below the 0.8983 could do the trick here for the bears, as this would confirm another forthcoming lower low, and we could aim for slightly lower areas here near the 0.8928 zone, or even going all the way here back towards the low of the 30th of August near the 0.8905. But again, looking at this picture right now, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing a bit of a correction here to the upside, of course, given the decent slide that we already had. So some correction could be possible. The only thing is that it's going to be very interesting to watch today, and keep an eye on today's pivot, which is around the 0.9030 zone. So in a way, if it struggles to push above it, then we could see another reversal and a quick drop to the downside here. But again, if it starts pushing above it, another potential area that could keep the rate down could be around the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and that's approximately around the 0.1939 zone. So again, guys, for now, like I said, keep your eyes on these potential resistance levels. For us to start considering maybe the upside again, of course, I do have the highlighted area near the 0.9051 zone, but the only problem with this level here, from the very short-term perspective, is the fact, let me just quickly show you what I'm talking about. It's this little downside resistance line. So this little downside resistance line taken from the high of last week, in a way, even if we see a push above this 0.9051 zone, it could travel higher, but it could get held near this downside line. So that's why for us to kind of aim for higher levels, maybe ideally we need to get rid of this level here, and ideally what we need, of course, this is for those who are more on the cautious side, the 0.90 and 0.9097, or in a way you could round it up towards the 0.91 zone. And actually, let me do that just for the sake of it here on the chart. So basically, this little area, this little territory around the 0.91, maybe plus minus 3 pips. So here, this is the cautious one. For the more riskier ones, what you could do here is keep an eye maybe on this little swing, inside swing high here at 0.9080 zone. This way we could see a push of a break above the this downside line, and a push above the 0.9080 could in a way do the trick here for the buyers. But again, like I said, for those who are more on the cautious side, this is the level to watch. If we see the pair climbing back above the 0.91 zone, then there is a good chance we could see this one drifting to the highs of last week near the 0.9144 or even higher. And if it does move higher, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, we could aim for even much higher levels. So again, for now, this is the game plan. Keep your eyes on today's pivot, which is around the 0.9030. It may get a hold up around there. If it overshoots it, the next hold up could occur around the this 200 EMA. But if it starts drifting, pushing above the 0.9051, this is going to be our little neutral territory. Jumping into a few other pairs, GBPCHF. So this one's having a nice time. So it continues to rise. It's now breaking this key area of resistance that I talked about previously yesterday. The 1.244950 zone. So 50, in a way, you could round it up towards the 50. And it's pushing now above it. The next target, the next potential area could be around the psychological 125 zone. So quite possible, could be a quite good, decent area to test. This is not far from the highs of the 2nd of July, and like I said, this could be that nice target, the 1.25 zone. Let's see if we manage to reach it today. If we manage to overcome the 1.25 zone, then well, the next potential target could be around here near the highs of the 19th of June, and that's approximately around the 1.2587. So this is going to be our next potential target if we get a nice break above the 1.25, the psychological 1.25, which the pair is currently targeting. So let's see if it manages to reach it today. In terms of the downside here, I mean, initially, of course, we could start looking at lower levels if we see a drop below the 1.2380, but to be on the safe side, to be honest, I mean, a drop back below the 1.23 zone could in a way do the trick here for the sellers, and we could maybe see a push towards the this upside support line taken from the low of the 13th of August. So in a way, all this move could be seen as a larger correction, and we'll take it from there. If we see such a move to the downside, then yeah, we'll see what he wants to do after. Maybe he wants to rebound from this upside line, maybe he wants to break, but again, for now, it's too early to talk about that. What you could do here for today as well, I do understand that this is a bit of a gap here, a bit of a space here, a decent space in order to kind of, and some could be maybe impatient a little bit here, but in a way, if this pair, for example, starts dropping back below the 1.2448, 1.2418 zone here, then there could be maybe a chance for a slide here, maybe a drop towards the lows of yesterday, which were near, and let me just put this one on the chart, near the 1.2327. Excuse me, that's the kind of the short-term idea, maybe for today only. So guys, but still be very careful with that downside. Again, looking at this picture right now, it seems that it made a nice curve here, and it's now breaking this key resistance at 1.2450 and could in a way drift further north, as I said, also targeting the psychological 1.25 level, and that could be quite an interesting level today. But like I said, in terms of the downside for today only, if we see a drop drop below the 1.2418. In a way, you could consider a possible move lower. The only thing is that, as you probably understand yourselves, there are a lot of obstacles underneath here. The pivot point, which is around the 1.2408. Then we have the 21 EMA, maybe just actually slightly above it. So that's why try to be very careful here with the downside especially. But if we start seeing a drop below today's pivot, then, well, this is way up where we will consider possible further slide down. So again, guys, for now, it's moving more to the upside. Let's see if it actually manages to reach the 1.25 zone today. Let's see if it succeeds. But for now, we are more bullish than bearish. Let's see how this is going to play out. GBPNZD, something interesting as well, and this pair is on fire as well. So it's traveling higher. It managed to break one of our key resistance levels, and this is what I was. You can see that we haven't looked at this one for quite a while now, and it broke this key area of resistance near the 1.9623 zone and kind of drifted further north. It even it managed to reach our target here near the 1.98 zone. For now, looking at this pair, it seems that it's willing to go all the way here towards the psychological 2 zone. And to be honest, with such a rally, there is a good chance it could do that. And but the peak that we had here on the 8th of May, and by the way, we are already at the levels of May, and we already actually surpassed those levels. So, but the highest point of May is near the 2.0024 area, so approximately around there. So, and it's also, by the way, around today's R2. So let's see if it actually manages to reach. It's only about 50 pips away from hitting this the psychological 2 level. It's not a huge move for GBPNZD. It does such moves on a daily basis almost. So that's why, guys, for now, what we're going to do here is we're going to still target the psychological 2 level. You can see that currently it's kind of struggling near this R1, which is around the 1.9950 zone, so approximately around there. So it's struggling to kind of push above it, and if we see a bit of a correction here, and if we see a slide lower, then keep your eyes on maybe this little area, this little territory around the 1.95 zone. This kind of midpoint between the pivot and the R1 is the pairs sometimes do like those, and if it struggles, let's say, to drop below this, then we could see a nice good curve here back to the upside, and this is when we could target that psychological 2 zone. In terms of the short-term kind of downside, a drop below the 1.98 zone could in a way do the trick here, and we could see this pair drifting lower, and this is the level for us for the downside. And like I said, keep your eyes on this one. This could be quite interesting for the sellers. But again, for now, it is looking more bullish than bearish. So let's see how this is going to play out. But like I said, these are the levels to watch, guys. Be very careful today. Like I said, we are quite extended here to the upside. So at some point, we could see a slide lower. The only thing is that don't forget it's Friday, and if you compare last Friday's activity, last Friday the pound exploded to the upside. So I mean, sometimes on Fridays they do like to have one-way traffic and just continue traveling one way without any retracement. So that's why, guys, be very careful. Like I said, today's Friday. Have your stop loss in place, and for now, given looking at GBPNZD, given that it's not far from the psychological 2 zone, there is a good likelihood that we might test the level 2. Okay, guys, so now jumping into USDJPY very quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I talked about this for the whole week, and it's still kind of ranging, and it's now breaking. It broke this upside line running from the low of the 25th of August, but probably we need to get rid of it because now the main focus lies on this little range here that we've got ourselves, and for now, we need to see a nice good pop above the 108.39 before we could examine higher levels. In terms of the downside, still the same level remains for us, the 107.50. That's what we're looking at in order to consider some lower areas here. So, but even then, be very careful, because a drop below the 107.50, depending how long it will take, it could take it. If it drops lower here, it may end up testing the 200 EMA, where the rate could stall a little bit. As you can see, previously that happened, and but if it starts breaking the 200 EMA, then yep, this is where more sellers could start joining in and potentially pushing this one down towards the 106.57 zone, which is marked by the low of the 6th of September. And the last pair for this session, quickly, euro dollar. Not much happening here. It's kind of moving sideways, but still the same game plan remains. I've talked about this one a lot this week. Still, we are looking at this downside resistance line taken from the high of June. And for us to consider kind of a move higher here, well, there are a bunch of obstacles that the pair would need to overcome. Initially would be this downside resistance line, but then the push above the 1.10 1.1075 zone, 76, something like that. And then basically the 1.1075 is the 176 is the high of is it the high of this week? Let me just quickly double check. No, not really. The high of Tuesday basically, and yesterday's high as well. So that's the barrier to watch, because if we get a nice push above the 1.1076, then this could also place the rate above the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So basically, this little territory here becomes quite an important breakout point. And but for that extra confirmation, a push above the 1.1110 could do the trick, because that's basically the high of last week. And yep, this could in a way open the path towards higher levels. Again, like I said, I do understand it's we could be missing here a decent move, but to be honest, we would rather be safe than sorry. So yes, we will start considering higher levels if we get a push above the 1.1076. But just for that extra confirmation, a break above the 1.1110 zone could do the trick here for more buyers. In terms of the downside, still we're keeping a close eye on this 1.1024 area. A drop below this could lead towards a test of the 1.0983, but a break of that could in a way open the path towards the lowest point of September. So yep, keep your eyes on this one, guys. But like I said, for now we are going to be more neutral than anything else, and we're going to keep an eye on some of these potential breakout points. So and let me just quickly put this one on the upside here, just for that future kind of for our reference in the future. Okay, guys, so I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me later on at my Traders Tea Time, as always, that's 13:15 GMT. I hope you have a wonderful and wonderful trading day. Be very careful. Have your stop losses in place. Don't overtrade, because it's Friday. We could see, like I said, one-way traffic as always on Fridays. So be very careful. And like I said, I'll see you later on at my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.